I'm Philip Bell.
And I'm Benjamin Douglas. This is our video presentation for the Natural Resource Recreation and Ecotourism class project. Our group chose to work with the invasive species management at ABAC School Forest, specifically in the Christmas tree tract.
The location of this was ABAC School Forest Christmas Tree Tract. We had two areas of concern. One was on the far east side of the tract, and I think a lot of people are familiar with it. It's the humongous wall of privet. There's been probably one or two other classes that have gone down there and done some work around that cul-de-sac area. We actually went into the stand or into that stand of privet and did hack and squirt in there. And then in area 2 was on the northern side, just off the center road that runs through the Christmas tree tract, the main road. And there's just another massive wall privet there, but this one was actually encroaching the road. So we felt that it was a good choice to take care of this area as well. As you can see, here's area 2 and area 1. Area 1, this is that huge wall of privet that lots of people are familiar with, and here's area 2, just right here encroaching the road.
So the time frame for this project, the first step, and actually before there's any field treatment, we had to meet with our stakeholders for the project, which is Dr. Lane and Mr. Hall. Also, he wasn't directly listed as a stakeholder, but we had to spend some time with Dan and the equipment areas of figuring out what tools we should utilize, as well as what herbicides, and making sure we had those available on the days when we were going to work in the field. So after we met with our stakeholders and were able to refine our focus and have more of an idea of what they wanted to get out of our work with the project, we actually went out into the field, and that's where we began on day 1 in the massive area that has been noticed by students in fire ecology, as Phillips mentioned. And it's hard to miss if you know what privet is. It's just apparent the degree to which it's altered the habitat in that area. So in there, as Philip said, we went down to the cul-de-sac area and used that road as just a means of facilitating our travel to find a way into that thick stand, because literally from about knee high up to maybe 25 foot, it's just a wall of privet. So once we found a way in there, got to work and treated those stems. We used a hatchet as a hack device and triclopyr and treated those stems. And after day 1, we had felt pretty good about our work with that area, felt like it was sufficient for what we were wanting to achieve with the project, and we moved on to the area 2, which was closer to the road. And speaking with our stakeholders, they had mentioned that part of their ideal outcome was increasing the accessibility for the school vans. So we switched up the methods there and actually used a bow saw so we could immediately remove those stems and they wouldn't be an impediment any longer, whereas with the hack and squirt, those stems were still left standing. For the rest of the days we had left on our project, 3, 4, and 5, we just allocated those into a 1 hour and 2 separate 2-hour periods, where the work that had been began in area 2, we just continued on that to widen that area.
The project purpose and species of concern. The purpose was to completely try to eradicate the privet that we came in contact with, and other species such as Chinese tallow if we did run into it. And then the other objective was in our pine stands, our highly flammable pine stands that we burn frequently. We also removed some stems of water oak and red maple so that we didn't allow for the messification process of those hardwood species.
As far as the general execution of the project, as I mentioned before, the work began in area 1, which was that large stand. It was basically a stand of privet, and the focus there was eliminating the stems which were large enough to be treated in hopes to eliminate some of that overstory crowding, reinitiate that understory with more light reaching down in there. And we applied the triclopyr as an herbicide And as I mentioned, a hatchet was our hacking device. And we made about 2 chains progress once we had got into the interior of the stand, literally just treating left and right each stem that was treatable. We felt pretty good about that area. That's when we shifted the focus to part B.
In area 2, we found this area when we parked the truck. We were actually going down to area 1, and we just kind of looked off to the side and realized how much this privet wall was encroaching the road. We used a bow saw for this, as well as some snips for the smaller specimens that the bow saw couldn't cut. When we cut the stumps, we treated them with triclopyr. The triclopyr is mixed with a blue dye so that we could tell which ones we had treated and had not treated. When we cut the stems, we removed them and scattered them around the stand as requested from Dr. Lane to not pile them up, so that when they ran a burn through there, they wouldn't have to go back and monitor those piles.
The goals in area 1 were to, as I mentioned briefly before, was to eliminate that privet overstory. The effects of that range variously, but the main thing is to reinitiate the understory species, hopefully to introduce a more flammable fuel complex, so that successive work could be done on what we've already began. So to be able to actually effectively manage that area, be able to achieve specific goals with the privet there, it's just an impediment to actually being able to make what you would like to think or plan to happen with that in the way. And ideally, if that successive work is upkept, then future students, like in fire ecology classes, will be able to run fire through there and use that fire as a efficient tool, a cheaper tool, and a more effective from an ecological standpoint tool for actually managing the privet and also benefiting the species involved in around that area. And in area 2, the goal was more so just that ease of access kind of purpose of this project, was better facilitating the vans getting in there to allow more students to more opportunity for education, and that's the whole function of the school for us. So we just wanted to expand that how we could by removing these invasive species.
Yeah, and in the process of opening up that section in area 2, we actually found it looked like to be an old fire break, or at least an old road bed within the stand of pines. It's kind of back. Once you get through the huge wall of privet, it opens up, and we kind of made a little trail so that somebody can go back and find this old fire break. So that could be useful in future burns. If other crews wanted to go in and work on this area of privet that's even far beyond that, we might be able to get something going in there, because overall that corner on area 2, the privet does stretch a fairly long ways and goes deeper back than we thought it would. So hopefully we brought attention to this specific area, and actions can be taken on that accordingly. Overall, we were pretty happy with the results. We removed a lot of privet, especially in area 2. And in area 1, we did a significant amount of eradication just with hack and squirt. We made sure with area 1 that we went back and did periodic checkups. We would be working on area 2, and usually when we'd take a break or something, we would go down to area 1. And after about a week and a half, we already started to see wilting, and after about 2 weeks, there was significant leaf fall. Our only issue that we're thinking of is that we're going to have is going to be the response of the seed bank, because there's no telling how much seed bank is already there. And in area 2, where the sun is already hitting the ground, about after a week of cutting some of that stuff down, we already had sprouts about this big coming up. So very fast. So we're suspecting a very quick response from this, so it needs to be taken action promptly with other classes, and hopefully running fire in these areas after that combustible fuel gets on the ground. whether it's pine needles or other debris. Yeah.
All in all, it was a successful project. Field privet.